Okay, welcome back. And we have just 3 minutes for the discussion. So I think 1 or 2 questions for our speakers. So any question? Some opinions, suggestions, curiosity.
Thank you. I was interested in the presentation of the colleague from ONS because, as far as I understood, because of course they are very quick. So and also the poster we can't read well, but I asked something to her before. So it's interesting because she tried to measure from an economic point of view our institute, the ENS, I mean ONS, and the National Statistics Institute. We have a lot of problem in the last days and last years, and we need to look to ourselves because we need to better our performance, and I think to also to be able to look at the main priorities. And as far as I understood, that instrument can be useful. I think everybody knows what has been happening in ONS in the last couple of years, and so we need to go to the roots of the problem and to the solution. Everybody is facing budget cuts and a lot of, I mean, less people working in the National Statistics Institute, and instead everybody wants new things, new requests, and the new hype is important also inside the institution. If you do something very new, shiny, and intelligent, artificial intelligent, it sounds very well, but sometimes we lose our core business. At least as this what happened in ONS, in some part of ONS, unfortunately. I don't know if you read the independent report that's been released in June. And I think that approach can be a correct approach to try to have real basic data from every part of the institution, from every part of the National Statistics Institute, and try to see the real results, not just what's we say in Italian fumo and hype, because we are in a world of hype now. So I think it's very interesting and very helpful to have framework like that. We need, because at least I feel this, I have this feeling also in Istat, we look too much toward new shiny things, and sometimes we don't invest because of course we have to decide and where to put the money, and we have to find the right priorities, and sometimes the old important task, sometimes we just don't think about the old important task, but then the reality comes out at the end of the day, and you have to face it. So I think it's very interesting. I'm sorry if it was a comment, not a question, but I think we have to measure that. Thank you. Although it's very difficult. So in the past we tried and we failed.
Okay, thank you, Fabio. And I think that the time is over. And no, not for you. No, it's perfect. And many thanks to the speakers, Corinne, Rebecca, and Laura and Liam, and for their contribution. And I pass the floor to the next session, the last session, and to Rui Martins. Thank you.
Good morning. Let's do it. Last one, it's a classic, last but not least. We are now going to see some presentations about the team redesigning data collection process. Some of these issues already have been talked in the last 2 days, but perhaps especially in the small group discussion, but we have 3 very interesting presentations and developments from our colleagues. First, we will see the presentation for Dirk. He's from Central Bureau of Statistics, CBS. He works since 2012 leading, and nowadays he's leading the Business First program since last year. The floor is yours, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let me introduce you to our Businesses First program, initiative aimed at transforming the way we collect our data, putting businesses at the heart of the process. Basically, this is a sequel of the presentation Ger already held also about this topic, and we've spoken about this subject for a couple of, it's a general theme the last days, so business-centric data collection. And I work on this program with several colleagues, Anita Vase, Leanne Roebe, and Ingrid Beckers. So why do we need change? Ger already talked about this, so I will briefly just give a recap. First of all, one could argue that the way we collect our data as an SI is rather complex and one-sided. It's survey or regulation-oriented or centered, and business have to provide information to Statistics Netherlands based on certain definitions and certain entities that they don't really recognize, mainly for statistical purposes. Furthermore, we know that not all our respondents are familiar with what Statistics Netherlands does, what it is, how their information is processed, and that even replying to our surveys is mandatory. So there are also issues of trust regarding the confidential handling of their data. So this all boils down to lack of trust and transparency, and we need to address that. And therefore, a more business-friendly and efficient approach is needed in order to remain future-proof and relevant. Then the Business First program, it marks a strategic shift, and it builds on the vision of primary data collection, which was released in 2022. It's basically implementing the recommendations or this vision by, and furthermore, it addresses the recommendations of the customer journey, which has been conducted by an external bureau to introduce how our respondents regard CBS. And the goal is to center businesses in the data collection process and align with their practices and needs. So the key principles of the program is that our respondents are actively involved in shaping the way data collection is done, and they're not just respondents. We would like to involve them as much as possible in improving the data collection itself. Secondly, data collection is better aligned with business practice, and the surveys are a natural part of the reporting chain. So it's not a standalone report they have to do. according to some exotic definitions, but it's just part of the regular reporting chain. And they don't have to tailor their information according to our definitions. And finally, transparency and communication. So businesses know what they have to report, when they have to report it, and why they have to report it, basically. Within the program, we've created 3 pathways, or a trident, what you could say. When I was making this presentation, I thought we go to Rome, so I had some couleur locale, and I thought the Trevi fountain had a statue of Neptune. It turned out that he wasn't there, so I had to find another picture. And in the end, I ended up selecting this picture, but it's not in Rome, it's in Bologna, but I'm sorry for that. Well, back to the trident. The program consists of 3 pathways: process, redesign, and automation, improving the business experience, and strengthening communication and business engagement. And I'm project manager of the first part, so I will go into some details there. Within this part of process, redesign, automation, we have a 2-stage approach. The first stage consists of redefining the complete data need for all establishment statistics and align with their business practice. This requires harmonization and standardization of all the information that we as an NSI request. And this first stage then creates a precondition for the second stage, which is automation of data collection. And without this first stage of harmonization and standardization, the second stage would not make much sense, or at least would not be very efficient. And we would like to do this. Our aim is to align to business practice by identifying so-called data blocks, or one could say data sets. And a data block is a set of information that naturally belongs together, and can be derived from information system or a business process. And examples are a financial administration, an intrastat, e-invoices, personnel administration, and so on. And the idea is to retrieve such an entire data block at once per reporting period. So not per survey, where we go away from the siloed approach, but we look more at the data sets themselves. And data collection is across different surveys, and further distribution of the information then takes place internally at Statistics Netherlands. This also means that we actually have to connect to the unit at which businesses keep their records. Now we collect information at the statistical unit, which is often the enterprise or the enterprise group. But then we actually have to move away from that and go to the legal unit as the collection unit. And this also would mean that we have to find ways for some statistics to do automatic consolidation. And I know that there are some NSIs, or nowadays many NSIs, that actually do this already. So we have to learn from them. Furthermore, data collection has to be done in the definitions that are understood by our respondents and that match the business administration. And this also means that the challenge of translating these concepts to statistical concepts, or the business concepts to the statistical concepts, is moved from the respondent to Statistics Netherlands. And then the second stage, automated data collection. We would like to offer businesses a menu, so to say, in which they have multiple options to select for data submission. We did a user test in order to test some of the scenarios for data communication. And basically, we found that there are 2 or 3 main groups. The first group is really into convenience. They want to spend as little time as possible on responding to our surveys, and they don't mind providing any details on their records. So they say, here you have a dump, good luck. And then there's a second group that actually has some privacy concerns, some trust issues, and they want to stay in control really of the data they provide. And then there's a third group, and they don't have any like automated systems, for instance, self-employed. They do everything in Excel, and we also have to accommodate those businesses. So by offering a menu of possibilities of options for submission, we would like to serve all groups. Then the main challenges, I go back to the overall program, then the challenge of the program are organizational change. This program marks a major shift away from the way we have been collecting data up till now. And this also means that a cultural change has to, within our office itself, has to find its way. And achieving organizational change is never easy. Then the second, the target population of businesses is rather diverse. It's not a homogeneous population, but we have many different businesses, and I think it's been mentioned this morning as well, of different size, different sector, different digital maturity, different IT systems. And we have to find a balance between flexibility on the one hand and comparability and consistency on the other. And to address this, we try to find key characteristics between groups and create like personas approaching businesses. And lastly, we need to strike a right balance between reducing administrative burden, but also data quality and timeliness. Having said that, I also think within our bureau we should be critical about over-processing and excessive detail, as we are statisticians and not accountants. Then the last slide, this is a journey, not a one-time project, and in which we gradually try to improve the way we collect our data by involving businesses. It is key to explore the potential of digitalization and AI. Also, this morning we've spoken about it already. The business environment is highly digitalized and standardized, and it's our surveys are maybe a bit old-fashioned, a bit outdated. So we really should look into the potential of aligning with the way businesses have their information available. And lastly, and this is more the mantra of the whole presentation, to remain relevant and future-proof, we shift in attitude toward business-centric model where data collection is needed. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dirk, for being very kindly in the time. So I didn't show any plate if you saw. And any questions that you have, please. I have 10 to do it. Follow.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dirk. It was a very nice presentation. I'm in line with your approach, and especially I'm happy to see that blocks approach, to have blocks to the companies. It's part of our vision in Statistics Portugal. We for the portal at this moment, as we are more survey data collection, and for business at this moment, we are respondent centered, not business centered, because the respondent is the guy who does this. But we are planning to move to business centric in order to provide one thing very important. When a company access to our data services, we showed, oh, this company, we have this data from you, and you can church or build your indicators comparing with the sector, or the national level or the top 5 competitors. This is a services, and we need some persona specialized to do that. And also, we can say that you are, for example, a company from type A. I'm lucky I'm happy to say to you that you don't have to, in the next year, to provide data to us, because we already have. But if you are from type B, we need these data for the next year with this calendar, with this frequency and other things. It's a huge challenge. It's a huge challenge. I think you are doing that in that direction. So I'm very happy, and I will follow very closely your work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A question? Yeah, if don't, the panel, no? I have one or two to Derek. You referred to your presentation, the transmission automatic data. You have any examples nowadays? It's now running, or it's it should be implemented? Can you talk about more of that?
Yes, we have some small examples, but they're not very exemplary for the fishing. We try to incorporate like big chunks that are now pretty small, and we try to incorporate like the big chunks, like a complete financial administration, and then try to map that to our variables and definitions, and use it for different statistics, across different statistics.
Thank you. Last one, in the usability, you made some usability tests with respondents, with enterprises, associations. Can you tell a little more?
Yeah, for the data communication, we had some meetings with software developers, like from reporting software, accounting software, and we thought of some ways how data collection could be automated from these parties. We created some scenarios and made some examples, like some visual examples, questionnaires, how these scenarios could be could work out, like for respondents. And we've tested it with the user lab, like some companies, I think about 15 or so, and they commented on it. And it was very insightful, because some of the scenarios we could remove straight away, and they gave valuable input on how to do this. Yeah.
Thank you, Derek. That's the idea. Oh, sorry. Another one, Boris?
Thank you. My experience is that much of the actual success of these kind of ideas, like you presented, but there are similar ones both today and the earlier times and circumstances, are dependent on the organizational readiness to kind of take in that and go from the top to the bottom, to the work floor, and really implement it. Can you, I mean, what is your perception now of how the situation, I mean, I'm asking you this because it's discussion question, so, and it also helps others who have these ideas. How do you go about in getting this prepared in the organization to kind of have a reasonable chance of success?
Yeah, I think that's a spot on remark, because I also mentioned it as the first challenge, like the internal, the organizational change that's needed in order to be able to implement such a program. externally, we try to involve businesses as much as possible, but internally it's the same. We have to involve every department, the key opinion leader, so to say, in this program, and try, keep reminding them of the importance and of the strategic gains. So it's something we're still working on, and we still have some ground to cover there. So, but I think it's really true. I always believe that these ideas are widely adopted within the bureau, but yeah, it's most people are just preoccupied by making statistics and trying to get to make it to the next deadline. So yeah, that requires some a lot of internal communication. Yeah.
Thank you again, Dirk, for your presentations and your answers. We pass now to the next presentation by Barbara Lore. She's a questionnaire designer at Istat since 2021, and she's responsible for optimizing design of questionnaires for establishments, surveys. And she will be presenting the redesigning for quality, how questionnaires redesigns improves data quality over time in quantitative business surveys. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Rui. Good morning, everyone. Well, this presentation will be all about questionnaire design. And when it comes to questionnaire design, at least that we move within the respondent-centered approach. We do this because over the last decade or so, we have become more and more convinced that we support the completion task and we take care of usability and we make the completion experience as pleasant as possible. Then, as a consequence, we will see burden reduction and increase the willingness of respondents to participate. And again, as a consequence, we'll get better data quality. I'm not here to give you recipes because, you know, unfortunately, questionnaires are all different from each other. And each questionnaire poses its own challenges, but we can at least share experiences because experience is something that can be transferred to other contexts, or it can inspire new ideas. Over the last years, we have made a mindset shift. We have moved from a punishing approach, so to speak, in which respondents who make mistakes are detected, blocked, overcharged with additional requests, and not allowed to go on until they fix their mistakes. So we have moved to a preventive approach in which we help respondents not making mistakes. We still have quality checks, many, probably too many, but we do whatever possible to prevent them from being triggered. Today, I will focus on quantitative questionnaires because sometimes they can be particularly challenging depending on the type of data we need to collect. We collect data for statistical purposes. Questionnaires should align with the statistical definitions given by statistical regulations. On their hand, respondents have their data recorded for different purposes, surely not for statistical purposes. So what they are expected to do is to understand those statistical definitions that mean nothing to them. Then they have to read their data according to those definitions and do some processing, and in the end, filling out a questionnaire. In more complex questionnaires, the task basically is filling out tables. They have to take a quantity, and in each table, they have to distribute this quantity according to a different classification. and the totals of the tables should be consistent. And believe me, it's not so easy to make it happen. It's a real big ask. This is the case of the questionnaire we use for the survey on research and development in business enterprises. The survey collects information on expenditure for R&D activities and on human resources involved. In 2023, we had to change the system of acquisition, basically for security reasons. So we had to develop again the questionnaire from scratch, and this gave us a great opportunity to revise the design, because we already knew that the survey had a huge problem with the burden, because we had seen a progressively decreasing response rate and a progressively increasing dropout rate. As for data quality, the main issue was the fact that some respondents reported expenditure in euros when they were asked to do in thousands. So what have we done? Actually, it's been a huge work, but for the sake of brevity today, to stay within the 15 minutes, I'll show you just one table. This is the first one. And by the way, it's the most important one. Here, respondents are requested to report expenditures for R&D activities. And now, the new questionnaire, in the new questionnaire, the total is automatically computed. And before going on with the completion, it is submitted to the respondent for validation. Obviously, if this total is not recognized as correct, respondents are asked to double check. But if it is correct, this becomes a benchmark for accuracy evaluation in the next tables. And also it is captured by the questionnaire to populate auto-filled text in the following tables, in the following questions. And this auto-filled text should serve as a reminder. We think they can support memory, and in this way they can reduce inconsistencies. As I mentioned, a big issue was the use of the unit of measurement. Please note that in the validation question, the total is shown in full, I mean in euros, even when respondents are asked to complete the questionnaire in thousands. We think this can help respondents immediately realize whether they had misused the unit of measurement, because in case of misuse, the total in the validation question would be multiplied by 1,000. In 2024, so the second year after the redesign, we've also added a textual label next to the entry field, just to make even more clear what they were expected to enter. So how did it go? In 2023, we did a first assessment of the impact of the redesign, comparing data from 2022 and 2023, so the last year with the old questionnaire and the first year with the new one. This year, we have made a multi-year analysis to get more robust results. And on a triennial basis, error in the use of the unit of measurement have halved. Down below, you have the detail, the yearly detail. So we can see that on the first year with the new questionnaire, we have seen a decrease in the error rate. But in 2024, the introduction of the label seems to have given a great contribution. Here in the left side, you can see the percentage variation from 2022 to 2023 in the accurate use of the unit of measurement, so it's an improvement. Well, on the first year, we have seen that accuracy has dramatically improved among smaller enterprises, but as firm size increases, the improvement becomes less important, and at a certain point, we have seen a quality disruption. This really came as a surprise. We didn't expect. So we asked why this had happened. And we think that it's all a question of balance between the difficulty of the task and the resources available to cope with it. So for smaller enterprises, the phenomenon observed is simple, so the task is easy and the resources available are adequate. But as the size increases, the phenomenon becomes more and more complex, the task more and more difficult, and probably the resources to cope with it do not scale up proportionally. So that size class is the breaking point in this balance. And in fact, this balance is regained among larger enterprises because they have strong resources. You can ask whatever you want, they can manage anyway. On a triennial basis, we see that the shape of the figure is not different that much. The only difference is in that size class, which has shown some kind of resilience, even though it still remains a vulnerable size class. Participation. In this table, we have reported the triennial participation pattern. Value 1 represents firms that participated in the service in a given year, and number 0 indicates that the firm was eligible but did not participate. Basically, we have seen with the new questionnaire, we have seen an increase in the number of enterprises that participate in the survey on a regular basis. And constant participation brings better quality. Here you have those firms who participated in the survey each year from 2022 to 2025, so 4 times on a streak. They always perform better than the average. And even among those subgroups, we can see that the vulnerable size class perform worse. There is still a vulnerable size class, even though over the course of the 4 years, their performance has improved a lot. So now their error rate is lower than the error rate with the old questionnaire. So some lessons learned. If we think that we can improve data quality just by overdoing quality checks, we are making a big mistake, because we need to focus on burden reduction, because burden reduction is the starting point for a virtual cycle. And we have learned also that even small changes can bring big results, but it is also true that some changes that are beneficial, even if changes are beneficial, it is also true that it can they can be detrimental to some respondents. We think that each questionnaire has its own breaking point. So we need to know exactly each time where that breaking point is and how. Well, the answer is always the same, by testing, and hopefully testing should be a mix of different methods, a mix of quantitative and qualitative methods, because quantitative analysis let the phenomena emerge, but then to go deeper, we need qualitative techniques, because we need to understand why things happen. And this is the power of qualitative techniques. So thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Barbara. Just in time. So the floor is for the audience. Questions? Comments?
Thank you, Barbara, for your contribution. My question is if to have more respondents, did you ever consider the possibility to give to the respondents a feedback in the sense that they know that to respond is mandatory, but in many cases they would like to have some information about the market, their position on the market, and so on. Not only the information they could research on the website of Istat, but a sort of personalized information about their enterprise. Each enterprise, as you said, are different from each other. And so it could be an incentive to participate to the survey.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I don't think I am the person who have to reply to this question, because I'm a questionnaire designer. It's not me who decide the policy of the institute about this. I don't know if the director of business statistics wants to reply. It's not my job.
So just a quick comment of that, because can you please? Thanks. In Portugal, we have return information monthly to some surveys, and it's one of the good practices that we have. We compare the results of the enterprise with the note levels above, and we think that's a very good approach to them. In tourism, for example, it is monthly available in the private area of our respondents to have that report. And we have also a macro information, economic macro information available also as a return of information. Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree on the importance, but it's not within my power.
Thank you for your presentation. I don't have a question, I just have a comment. And I think I've seen, I don't know, 10 different ways of dealing with this factor 1,000 issue. And I find you always get into a dilemma about doing something that looks nice and is beautifully integrated. And I've seen a lot of different ways where you sort of integrate the 3 zeros and a dot, and yeah, it looks very natural and you don't see it. And I really like your solution with just spelling it out, because it looks strange, and that's what you want to achieve. So I just think it's a beautiful example of sometimes you have to make something very visible, even though it may not really qualify as beautiful, but you want attention, and I think you get that. So I just thought it was very neat. And I haven't seen that one before. I've seen a million other ways to try to solve that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just also a question. In this updates questionnaire, you have also usability tests or checklists for the improvements. Do you have to make in the questionnaires?
Well, this questionnaire has a long story. A cognitive test was in the agenda, but then the pandemic got in the way, so we didn't do it anymore. So in the end, we didn't do, but we leveraged the experience we had gained during the pilot survey for the agricultural census, because in that case, we had a quantitative questionnaire that poses more or less the same challenges. And in that case, the data collection design was a mixed mode, including CAPI, CATI, and CAWI. So we had to combine quantitative tests with qualitative. We could observe CAPI interviews, and we could listen to CATI interviews. And so there we came up with the idea that the CAPI questionnaire should reproduce the interviewers' behaviors as much as possible. And so we transferred this experience to the R&D question.
Thank you, Barbara, for your clarification. So we go next presentation. It will be made by Carla Alves from Statistics Portugal. She will also present an example of the industrial survey in Portugal, the revised web form layout, the opinion survey, and the interactive dashboard. Carla Alves is a statistician at Statistics Portugal from 2021. The floor is yours.
So good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here to talk about the revision of the Portuguese Industrial Production Survey. The Industrial Production Survey is an annual operation that inquires nearly 6,000 enterprises classified with at least one industrial activity in a sections B, C, D, and E. It collects information on products, raw materials, and energy sources used in the production process. The layout was last reviewed in 2014, and since then several issues have been identified that required improvement. Using the funding provided by Eurostat on this domain, the revision was carried out based on two main goals: simplify the response process, making it more user-friendly, and improve the quality of the reported data. How it was before. The form was customized according to each enterprise's economic activity. Each activity included tables with data on products produced, raw materials purchased, and energy sources consumed. Each product was associated with a specific code, where the last digit defined the type of production. The new web form consists in 10 tabs instead of the 4 in the previous one. The Home tab is similar for all business surveys carried out by Statistics Portugal. It collects general information about the enterprise's main activity and its current situation. The type of production tab is one of the main changes introduced. It guides the respondents to the specific tabs that need to be completed based on the type of their activity. Depending on the selected option, 3 additional tabs may open, either individual or in combination. AB tab refers to production to own account and or subcontracted, either in Portugal or abroad, using the respondent's own raw materials. The C tab relates to production performed under a manufacturing contract using third-party raw materials. The D tab concerns the provision of industrial services. If an enterprise doesn't produce or provide industrial services in Portugal, must select option E, provide an explanation, and thereby completes the form. To simplify the product selection process, a new search functionality was implemented. This new search allows respondents to easily find and select the products they produce by using the following options. Product code, the respondents can enter partial product codes, so entering the full code is no longer necessary. Product name, respondents can search by entering a keyword. The system will return all products whose name contains that keyword. By NACE code, respondents can search using activity codes. The system will return the corresponding set of national product codes. And by combined nomenclature, the CN codes, here the web form integrates the relationship between the CN and PRODCOM codes, helping respondents to more accurately identify their products. With the total search, the system returns all codes corresponding to the enterprise's activities. The web form automatically enables the columns corresponding to the select type of production. If the respondent selects both options A and B, on account and subcontracted production, columns 0, 5, 6, and 3 become available for input. In addition, all fields in the column 4 related to own account production are automatically calculated based on the data recorded in the other columns. The average price of the product is displayed automatically calculated, and this feature helps respondents to identify potential input errors. There are two examples. The above shows the most common reporting scenario, where the enterprise has only own account production. In this case, the enterprise reports 1,000 kilograms as total production, of which 200 kilograms as used for interconsumption. The web form automatically calculates and fills in 800 kilograms in the own account column. The example below illustrates a report that includes own account production along with subcontracting, both in Portugal and abroad. In this scenario, all relevant columns are available for input and the own account production is automatically calculated. Another functionality introduced was the production summary tab. This tab organizes the data recorded in the different tabs by CAINC, that's the first 5 digits of the product code, allowing respondents to view the sales value reported by product and type of production. The total sales values is calculated automatically, as well as the income from third-party production. In this tab, the respondent must distribute the sales value by destination market, national, European Union, or third countries. This production also allows the data structure to remain largely unchanged, ensuring continuity with previous version. Since 2017, Statistics Portugal has been carrying out an opinion survey aimed at assessing the statistical burden on business and obtaining a picture of respondents' perception of surveys. This initiative is carrying out every 2 years across the various surveys. Given the web form layout change, the opinion survey was carried out to get feedback on the new design and structure. Although it is voluntary, response rates indicate a widespread acceptance of this measurement approach. These questions are placed at the end of the surveys and collect data on the difficulty in answering to a questionnaire, the number of people involved, the total time spent, and the perception of the relevance of statistics produced by Statistics Portugal. The results help identify which surveys are most demanding and set priorities for simplification. Examples of improvements include clearer question wording and the introduction of help boxes. Comparing the results of the Industrial Production Survey Opinion Questionnaire over the last 2 years, we have seen a decrease in the number of people involved in responding and less time spent to complete the survey. The question is to response saw a slight increase in the options very easy and easy, suggesting a positive response to the changes introduced. The feedback to respondent was rated as very useful by 80% more participants. To improve the efficiency of microdata validation and analysis, a dashboard is being developed to monitor the behavior and evolution of the industrial production survey in real time. This tool provides a global view of the survey status, including the overall response rate, a list of the top enterprises that have already responded, and those that have not yet submitted their data. It also displays a ranking of data by NACE divisions. In addition to the survey data itself, the dashboard integrates other relevant data sources. It compares the information reported in the industrial production survey with historical data from previous years, with external data such as e-invoice and other statistical Portuguese surveys. Behind the global overview, the dashboard includes secondary tabs that offer a more detailed analysis. This section allows users to check the evolution of each enterprise's production and invoice over time. It is possible to compare the values reported in the industrial production survey directly with those recorded in the invoice system and other information from other surveys, identifying inconsistencies and patterns. This functionality is useful for tracking long-term trends and ensuring data consistency. For example, if an enterprise reports a sharp drop in production, but no corresponding decrease in e-invoice, this may indicate a reporting issue that requires follow-up. At this stage, it is important to note that the dashboard is still under development. Moreover, the data for the 2024 is still analyzing, which means that the current results are not final and are still subject to validation. Thank you all. I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Carla. And it's the best to be the last session. We are just in time to some questions, general or for all the panel, or first for Carla.
Yeah, thanks for your very good presentation. So I'm feeling a bit guilty that my question is about something small on the first slide. But you said you send out your questionnaire to all the units that are for first or secondary activity active in manufacturing. Is this secondary activity also mandatory for Eurostat or? Okay. And yeah, that's not a question to you, but I don't think we do so in the Netherlands. It's only for the first activity, but so I wondered if other countries are doing so, but at least Portugal is, yeah.
The enterprises must have one industrial activity. The main activity or secondary doesn't matter.
Thank you. Another one before.
Thank you, Carla. Very interesting. I worked on Prodcom for a few years, and I think it's a somewhat annoying survey for companies. So it's really good to see how other countries are designing the questionnaires. Very beautiful dashboard as well. So really impressive. I'm wondering, have you experimented with pre-populating the questionnaire with products at all? Have you experimented with pre-populating the questionnaire with product information so a company can just say, yeah, pre-filling.
I think that we are studying that. It's not easy. In this year, for example, we decided that we don't want to show anything. The previous years, the enterprises have the history, but this year we thought that we are going to start. Yes, now we are validating the information. And I think that was a good decision because we saw enterprises that usually over the years respond the same products, and this year they have different production, and was good to us to understand that was changes. And if there wasn't a new design, we want to know that. So I think that was a good decision. I don't know if I answer you.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. And
Thank
I'll
you.
share this with my Podcom colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you. You presented a lot of redesign solutions for the Prodcom service. In your opinion, which one of them was the most effective, had the more impact in terms of response rate and accuracy of the outputs?
Thank you for your question. I think, in my opinion, that the introduction of filters was the main decision, and creates a new layout with more simplify, and with I think that the respondents have more facilities in filling their products.
Thank you. Another question or comment? Paulo?
Thank you, Carla. Amazing presentation, but I would like to complement, to add what you said concerning the question of Ian. And at the beginning, with the paper questionnaires, we had 250 different questionnaires in Prodcom. Okay, tailored for each activity or each products they produce, but it's a little bit tricky, because sometimes we try to replicate this in web forms. It was very difficult to do that. So we decided to have a more one fits all solution, because we can induce pressure the company to go to that specific activity or that specific group of products. It was a tough decision, but I think it was right for us. That's just an adding. Thank you.
Thank you. No, I have two comments. First, I want to ask my director to rebuild my tourism and transport surveys next year. Can I? No, the second one, more seriously, you have made so many changes in the questionnaire. Do you measure the impact in not just in rate, but response rate, but also in if the enterprises like it more? You have the opinion survey, but they were happy with this. They anticipate the answer. You communicate before the changes.
My experience, my perception is that the people are resistant to changes. Okay. You could have a good change, but people look, it's different. I don't know. We have a lot of responses that, but we have a lot of responses that said that were good changes, that they like it, that is more easy. And yes, we have others that don't like it because they have more work and well, it's like everything. But I think it was a good change.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? No? Just to conclude, we have three examples of redesigning data collection process. It was the topic, and I think that we have to see deeply these examples to encourage to recenter our job and our mission with the respondents and get the data well and without burden. Sorry, Garen. Thank you very much. Now I pass the word to Pascal, please.
So we can start with our concluding remarks. We are closing the workshop that, as you could consider, is a unique opportunity to share the most advanced experiences in establishment statistics across Europe. It's very difficult to recap the outputs of a so rich workshop and of the consequent discussion after each presentation. If you want to find a guiding theme of this edition, we can individuate three guiding keywords: integration, innovation, interaction. Integration, of course, is not intended just as data linkage, but emerged during our presentation, our discussions, as something wider, including, for example, multi-source approach to data collection that involves integration of different sources of data. The same for innovation. It's not just artificial intelligence, as we currently tend to simplify, but is only innovation consisting of optimization of processes, data collection processes, and also of methodological development and improvement. The same for interactions. It's not just interaction with the participants in our surveys, so respondents, as we studied very in depth in our presentations, but it's also relation with the institutions that provide the data. So also interaction is a word that we can intend in a wide, in a broad meaning, in a broad sense. So in this framework, the natural goal is to provide efficient, smarter, coherent, and reliable business statistical systems. And in this framework, I will present a selection of the main topics that emerged during the workshop and that I probably will provide our roadmap for the activity we will carry out in the next years, at least in the next 2 years. First key topic, of course, is the keynote by Gail Snickers. It reflected on the shift from a data collection model centered on statistical institute to a business-centric model that is based on creating shared value, not only on acquiring information. This paradigm requires not only technological innovation, but also new governance model and public-private partnership. Second topic, that is the topic of delivered from Iwan Mullane, is active collection management, ACM, that focus on future vision, rolling estimates, automated editing, and adaptive design. One of the most dynamic areas of the workshop was the integrated use of tax and administrative data for producing economic statistics. Here we have the 3 very interesting examples, experiences more than examples, by Portugal, Netherlands, Italy. Other relevant issue is a new collection mode and respondent centricity. We can point out live video interviews for non-profit institution establishments census that pointed out higher engagement, clarity, and operational efficiency, and promising also an example, a model to follow for other establishment surveys. Understanding response behavior, paradata, audit trials, and navigation patterns showed by web against CIA, insight, timings, poses, changes, and error checking. Istat by the Netherlands, need for clear and accessible systems. measuring burden and perceived quality, validated 6-item scale, cross-country comparisons, integration of objective and subjective measures, robustification and short-term surveys, Swiss weight robustification, and Istat automated micro-macro editing, digital platform this morning, and semantic interoperability, M2M and IA for automated collection, in Industry 5.0, and automated data collection, real-time cost reduction, and so on. Questionnaire design, respondent-centered design, and survey on research and development, more clarity, error prevention, stable participation, higher data quality, industrial production survey, web form, and dashboard. These are all. And at last, but not the least, intrastat redesign, the statistical Denmark experience, and Istat mixed statistical administrative system. Some general conclusion. Sorry for the quick overview. The time is not much today, and you have also participated to all these activities. The first one, innovation, integration, interaction, as I just said, modernization of business statistics. This is the main involvement of these three keywords. Digital technologies, IA, Paradata, integrated registers, business-centric approach, involve an improvement of respondent experience and data quality. And then adoption of sustainable tools, ACM, business-first approach, modernized intrastat, involve a coherent, efficient, future-oriented European statistical ecosystem. The International Research Network on Business Statistics. This is an important theme that we have, I think we have to consider in our work, because we should establish a more and more integrated approach to business surveys and to data collection. So we have a set of events, some of them during the next year, others will follow. BDCM in Berlin, Netherlands, in June 2026. Q 2026 in Sydney in June. And then the ANIS data collection and sources 2026. And of course, EMBES in 2027. If I remember well, ISIS in 2027. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, thank you. Now I will pass the floor to the components of the program committee that I have to thank for their great activity. If they want to add something to these conclusions, of course, you can stay at your seat. We have microphones. Thank you, Silvana. Sorry, I think no specific comments. There is a comment by Diego.
Thank you all for your participating. Only one question: if would it be possible in the next meeting to enlarge the participation, even only by teams to the co-authors of the presentation of the papers, because many of them would like to participate, but they didn't. So I think it would be a good thing.
Thank you, Diego. Yes, we discussed a lot about this issue, both in the program committee and also in the organizing committee. At the end, we decided to maintain a reduced number of participants in order to enhance the interactions among us, among the present. This is the same reason because we decided to not activate the online connection, just to push the personal interaction and the instauration of personal interactions. So this is the motivation. Of course, here in the room, there is also Boris Laurent, that is the chair. And of course, if you agree, we can furtherly discuss this proposal in the future and in view of the next event. Any other ideas, comments? Boris, do you want to add something or you prefer?
I take it as yes. But then if you finish, then
yeah.
So we are at the end of the workshop. Thank you so much for contributing to it in different ways, by listening, by giving comments, by other ways. I was about to say that I thought that the workshop is showing a reason why it's good to keep it small, namely to expose everyone to the same content, and also that everyone can. I'm sorry for the echo. I don't know what to do about it. It simply exists. Is it related to which mic is used? Is it better? Slightly better. And also to engage with everyone. Now, if you think that we were 100 people, then it won't be happening, and 200. So I think that there is a value in keeping people be at a distance in which everybody can have a connection with almost everyone, to have a coherence. And in comment to you, actually, we allow 50 people, but I have never seen more than 30 here, 35 at the best. So, I mean, there is some place, but it wasn't used. So that we can discuss, we will have to discuss how it comes. It happens that we have had 50 people, but only 35, maybe max, were present. But that will be discussed. Okay. I wanted to say some practical final words here. Sorry. Shall I start with this bug that here introduced in the beginning about burden? I'm misusing now my position, but the bug that here introduced in the beginning about response burden. I started to think automatically almost about the mid-2000s, mid-zeros, when there was this work on the handbook on response burden, which you also quoted. And basically, there is a distinction between actual burden and perceived burden to start with. And this actual thing, it's actually an administrative task, a clerical task, clerical work. And regarding that part, if anyone who thinks that one can, I'm sorry for my voice, I guess I don't know what to do with it. It's as it is. Try to figure out in the noise, try to find out some sense. If anyone thinks that one can collect the data from respondents without asking them to do some clerical work, that is simple belief in magic. That's not working. So the first part, so clerical work, it's necessary. As long as you have a respondent, that person will have to engage into some work. The second part is actually perceived thing, perception. And if one wants, one can speak about that as an experience. So responding experience, is it this or that? Is it good or is it not good? How can it be improved? So I think my suggestion, which has come now, and I was kind of just today, but I'm misusing it, otherwise it will go away, is to present it to you, to tell it to you, is that, if somebody wants you to reduce response burden, ask him, what shall I do? Shall I kind of ask my people, these respondents, to provide me less data? Is that the point about what you want me to do? Or do you want me to improve the experience of providing data while I'm still collecting the same amount of data? And that's, I think, communicable. I don't see why that's not communicable. Why just instead of this term that both doesn't look nice and maybe it's not clear, which is maybe the more a real reason. Ask somebody wants you to reduce burden, ask me, what should I do? I will reduce their clerical tasks, or I will improve their experience, or both, and then measure both parts. Right, it was completely off the intended part, because I'm not supposed to go there. I think I feel better with notes. Are we going? What are we doing? And so on. To begin with, after we have met, it's working. Yeah. After we have met here, we will send in a week or two an evaluation questionnaire nicely, with little administrative work and even a huge experience in. So all in all, it's not fun. Please provide us input. As I said on the first day, in the end, I personally, and all of us, crucially depend on ideas what we can do more. So in that evaluation questionnaire, which we invite you to please fill in, with more burden, less burden, doesn't matter, please fill it in, and then we will appreciate and try to use it. That's one thing. Secondly, papers by the end of November. In addition to sharing your work here, it's really the target of NBES to provide this also content to the other people in the networks and generally throughout the world, basically. So if at all you have the possibility, then if you want, you can improve your papers, extend them, shorten them, and so on, so that they are more presentable to the outside, but they are probably already as it is. And then the idea is that we, Johannes, Liam, and so on, will put them online. So if you have some, on the other hand, strong concerns that you don't want it, then you will please are asked to actively stop us from doing that. But we want to share it, really, we want to share it. That's the purpose of NBES. And I invited you, we all invite you to engage with NBES. Write to us, there will be probably a question, very likely in the questionnaire, how do you want to contribute to NBES? Please write what you want. It's not that we are not a bank with 75 places with defined tasks and so on and so forth. Everybody can do almost what you want to do. Find some sweet spot for you and work on it. Write to us about it. And the parenthesis, I hate to say it, but I don't maybe hate it. It doesn't work so that we, the steering committee, get proposals and then we will sit and we will realize proposals. We don't have this force. We need to have people who want to do it also, not only to have good ideas, because we have had it before in 3, 4, 5 times ago. Good ideas, but and even we want, and then we see we can't, because it's also to be able to go through and to really do it. So forces who can join in and work on it and have exchanges. I think I saw yesterday evening, I mean, people have fun, people have exchanges, people understand each other. How can we keep it going on even if we are not in the same physical room? That's a little bit of that too. The point of what kind of exchanges we can have. And almost finally, where are we in 2, 3 years, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, both in terms of the topics, what is going to appear in the horizon or to become more prominent on the horizon, which it isn't now. And also the very practical, but very important to ask question, where do we meet in 2 years? If nothing crystallizes before that, then in a year from now, we will send an email out to you, all those you who are on the embassy mailing list, and say, oh, we are searching for host. And then we sit and pray at home that somebody responds. And also, yeah, among the other things, how to stay in touch in the meantime. So if you have proposals, it would be good to do it. Right. Is there anybody, and now I will be closing the workshop, if nobody minds. Is there anybody who wants to say some last word? Because if not, right. On behalf, or of course on behalf of NBES, but towards the recipients, which are on the other hand, on behalf of all the people at Istat who have been working on our workshop. I'm trying to see where Gianpaola is. Hello, Gianpaola. So NBES wants to thank you as a come here. Why are you down there? So thank you. It's a small little present here. Thank you so much for all your hospitality. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. It was very interesting experience. I don't know if I want to repeat it, but it was nice.
See, so you see, right. And also to the ticking heart of this workshop, who's from the beginning to end was, so Pascale, please, also small.
Not a necklace.
Thank you. And something else. That's Tokescos, by the way. There they are. Look what I have. Recognize this. Right. Anyway, there is something third, and it is to all the other and everyone on the Istat team. It says in Estonian, it says Aiteh, and Aiteh means thank you. So grazie to everyone who helped us here in the workshop. Okay. Thank you so much. It was nice again to be on a workshop of this kind, and let's stay in touch. Safe trip home.
Thank you, Boris, also for this unexpected surprise. Thank you. So, other 2 or 3 things very, very quick. So, the first one concerns the Slido. Here we have a first group of proposals. I read it very quickly. I think they are very interesting. So we will integrate what we collected during the meeting with all these proposals that we received in these days. Of course, the system is open. So if you want to add other ideas, please go ahead. Last thing, two things. One is best wishes to Carla Alves. We know today is her birthday. And last thing, we have to thank, of course, we are going to thank Boris Lawrence for his continuous involvement, his attention, and his advice in all the phases of this workshop, and also in the preparation phase that was not so easy. So thank you, Boris. To Fabio Rapidi, that is the Director of Economic Statistics of Istat, and had the patience to be here during all the meetings. Thank you, Fabio. Then the colleagues of the Communication Directorate, you made a wonderful work, so thank you to Paola and Sara for this very important support, and the colleagues that followed all the technical management of microphones and other technical activity. Also the posters, so thank you for your support. And then, of course, to all of you, thank you for your presence, for your attention, and for your participation. That was very, very high, very important, and very continuous during all the workshop. So thank you to you all. Other things? Yes, we have a symbolic present for you. I think Silvana is very, very symbolic, just to remember Rome. So please, you can take one if you want one of these. We can leave them. Yeah. That's a symbol. Oh, thank you, Massimiliano. Very professional. Of course, thank you to the two committees, the organization committee and the program committee. I think it's all. See you soon. Bye-bye.